Welcome back to the Euro Roundup, where you guys at home pick our winners and losers. To my right is Chris Hamill. To me is Zach Jellab. Tans, golden.
To me, to you.
To me,
R.I.P.
Anyway, Chris,
for Barry.
who is our first winner and who's it from?
Our first winner is from @Jojo_XO. Hopefully the singer was a big fan of her back in the day, and it is Borussia Dortmund because they beat RB Leipzig 4-1 despite conceding after just 30 seconds, rallied in Lucien Favre's first Bundesliga game in charge. Now, Jean-Kevin Augustin, big fan of him, of old PSG fame, got the opening goal before Dortmund responded through Mahmoud Dahoud. Sabitzer scored an OG, Witsel scored yet again, and Marco Reus added gloss to the result with a 91st minute goal. Now, goal of the day was undoubtedly Dahoud's stunning diving header, quite frankly. 22-year-old's first Bundesliga goal for BVB in 24 appearances. Let's hope he makes good on his outstanding promise this season. And Witzel's acrobatic far post finish from close range wasn't bad either, was it? Now, we did criticise the move for Witzel moving from China, but fair play to the 29-year-old because he started really well. That's 2-2 after scoring against Fürth on Monday. Also, shout out to Marco Reus, the 29-year-old Dortmund captain, got his 100th Bundesliga goal in 283 appearances. He's been injured for large parts of his career. That is an outstanding record. What a player. Now, he was man of the match in this game. His free kick forced the own goal. He completed 2 dribbles. He had 2 shots, 1 registering on target, which ultimately resulted in his finish. Fair play, Marco, but a disastrous start for Ralf Rangnick over at RB, who's taken the reins this season, like he always does, periodically every 3 years.
He has indeed. That also means that RB Leipzig have now just won 4 of their last 13 Bundesliga games, drawing 3,
RB
losing 6. Hey, see what you did there. Now, and they've also conceded at least 3 goals in 4 of those games. Sometimes as well, football is a very strange sport. RB Leipzig had more possession with 54%, more shots with 11-10, completed more dribbles, won double the aerial duels and almost double the tackles, but lost 4-1. As usual, all depends on how clinical you are. One thing to note, though, was that their average age of their side was 23.2 years old. Very young, and Dortmund was also very young at 26. Both young sides, however, maybe RB Leipzig just lacked the experience there, which Dortmund had in one of their star performers, Schmelzer, who won 3 aerial duels, made 5 tackles and interceptions, and made 4 clearances. Now, Dahoud, as you mentioned earlier, took 4 shots, completed 6 tackles and interceptions, and scored a beautiful diving header goal. Next up, Leipzig play their second leg of their Europa League playoff against Ukrainian side Zorya.
What a game, what a game.
The first leg ended 0-0, and that will be taking place on Thursday, whilst Dortmund travel to Hanover next weekend. How are you feeling about Dortmund this season? Because I feel excited for Christian Pulisic, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I'm a little bit unsure about Dortmund now. Lucien Favre had a decent time of it at Gladbach, so he has pedigree in the Bundesliga. But such was the gap last season between first and second that I fear he isn't going to bridge it. Now,
fair enough.
Had a decent time of it in his second season at Nice, where he got them into the Champions League places. That was a really exciting side with Player, with Seri, with a rejuvenated Balotelli. But last season they fell off a cliff, didn't they? And we've talked about his negative tactics before, but he's got the personnel to switch this up, hasn't he? Like you said, a good young side. It'll be interesting to see if they can fend off the advances of Hoffenheim, of Schalke, of RB Leipzig.
Which they did.
Obviously they've done here. And if they can finish second, then hopefully they get someone else in at the end of next season. And in a couple of years' time, we see another Jurgen Klopp-esque, Thomas Tuchel-esque Dortmund.
I agree.
Our first loser comes courtesy of @IsaacSecchi8, and he's put Valencia in the dustbin because they're yet to win a La Liga game after 2 attempts, losing to Espanyol this week, drawing with Atleti in their opening game. And it wasn't just the result, it was the manner of the result too, because Espanyol dominated the first half in particular. Sergio Garcia's header hit the bar, and Neto had to make a great save from Boa's headed effort too. But the home side made it count second half. Granero scored a beautiful free kick, actually needed goal line technology to prove it crossed the line after hitting the bar, so seminal VAR scenes there. And then Borja Iglesias sealed the win with his first goal for Los Periquitos, drawing from Celta Vigo for £9 million this summer. Celta Vigo, what a breeding ground for talent that is. Very fertile. Will someone just sign Pione Sisto, please? Now, it seems harsh to pull out one player in this Valencia setup to kind of attribute this poor performance to. But after watching the extended highlights, Cristiano Piccini did not seem to fare well. Now, he's just signed from Sporting for €8 million this summer, but 0 tackles, 0 interceptions, 0 aerial duels, 0 dribbles completed, and 1 shot off target. Doesn't exactly amount to a good game, and his error actually led to the second goal. Now, Espanyol, good value for the win, weren't they?
They were indeed. They only had 48% possession, but were much more effective with it, taking 19 shots to Valencia's 16, putting 9 on target to Valencia's 4.
9 on target,
that's impressive. They actually managed to take 12 of their 19 shots from inside the area as opposed to Valencia's measly 7, which is very good, because I think often shots are misleading because most of them are outside the box, whereas this stat shows they're taking good quality chances. It's been a solid start for Espanyol as well. They've taken 4 points from 2 games, drawing their opening game 1-1 with Celta Vigo, and that took them 4 games last season to reach this tally. Now, key performers for Espanyol were 29-year-old left-back Didac Villa, who made 7 tackles and interceptions, won 3 aerial duels, took 2 shots and put 1 on target. But the man of the match went to Borja Iglesias. I hope I got that name right. 3 aerial duels, 3 shots, 3 on target, 1 goal. A good performance from him. Now, next up for Espanyol, they travel to Alaves.
Derby.
Who are winless after 2 games, so I expect a win there. And also Valencia play away at Levante next weekend as well. Well, what do you guys think? How are Valencia and Espanyol going to do this season? Let us know in the comments below.
Our final winners come from at KV Manu76, and it is Napoli. The little donkeys triumphed over AC Milan 3-2 with ex-AC Milan manager Carlo Ancelotti, who was of course there for a trophy-laden 8 years, facing off against his old side for the first time in nearly a decade in Serie A. The little donkeys got off to a poor start. A wasteful first half saw them go 1-0 down thanks to Bonaventura's goal, and he seems to be making a habit of scoring against the Southerners. That was his 4th goal against the Blues, making it the 3rd highest team he has scored against.
Who are the others, Chris?
Inter Milan and Sampdoria are the others. Strictly Bonaventura related stats in this section. It was a brilliant jumping volley, to be fair. Great goal from him. And things got even worse for Ancelotti, with Calabria slotting for AC Milan, just his 2nd senior goal for the black and red. Eventually, Napoli stopped taking pot shots from outside the box and worked it into the area, which is, of course, what they were famous for under Sarri, securing better quality chances, Zielinski scoring 2 and Mertens completing the impressive comeback. Now, this was the first time Napoli had won a game after being 2 goals down since April 2011 from Lazio. Such has been their dominance up to this point, but it is good they still have that character, they still have that ability to bounce back.
Yes, now if you're a betting man unlike myself, you should keep this fixture in mind and put a bet on Zielinski to score next time, as he scored 25% of his league goals, 4 out of 16 against AC Milan.
Rogue stat, that.
Now, one man who didn't have a good day at the office was Gonzalo Higuain. 0 goals, 2 shots, 1 on target, 0 dribbles, 0 aerial duels won, 0 tackles. And actually, if you look at his heat map, his hottest point was in the centre circle.
Fred vibes from Germany versus Brazil.
It's not great, I'll be honest. Now, it's also not the great start for the Milan side, who are hoping for better results this season, especially with an extra Champions League place up for grabs. Now, after 2 games, Ancelotti's men have a 100% record, but they have had to fight for them. Their previous win against Lazio saw them having to turn it around after going down early on. I'm feeling semi-confident AC Milan will get into the Champions League this season. I'm going to say that right now as a little hot take. But what do you guys think? Will they? And how will Napoli do now that they've lost Sarri and got Ancelotti? Let us know in the comments below.
Our final loser comes from @Rasag on Twitter, and he suggested putting Nice in Le Poubelle, which I believe is bin in French, so bonus points there, because they fell apart against Dijon at home, losing 4-0, meaning they only have 1 point from a possible 9 at the start of this league and campaign. Now, Nice actually performed better than their opponents for the first 3 quarters of the match, having 10 shots to Dijon's 3, as well as 55% possession, but they unravelled at the end. Now, Melida hit the post for the hosts when the score was still 0-0, but that was as close as they would come. Dijon eventually opened the scoring in the 67th minute after Aguerd headed in front from a free kick. A little bit vulnerable from set pieces this side. Now, Les Aiglons hit the target with just 5 of their 16 shots, the same amount that Dijon did from just 9, so weren't very decisive in the final third, and you kind of expect that, having lost their more decisive players over the course of the summer. Man of the match, though, who you guys actually asked us to shed a little bit of light on, was 20-year-old Jules Keita, who came on with 20 minutes left. He assisted the second and scored the final 2. That is called making an impact. Now, props to 17-year-old central midfielder Enzo Loyadise as well, who's played every minute of this campaign for Nice and contributed to his first senior assist in this game. Only bright spot for Nice, really, Zacco, was Adrien Tamezi, the only player on this team to win at least 2 tackles, 2 aerial duels, and completed a couple of dribbles. Now, Patti Vieira, we said this in previous weeks, needs to turn this around pretty quickly, otherwise Nice are going to get in a rut.
Yes, old Paddy V's start as Nice boss hasn't really gone to plan, to be honest. His side have scored just 1 goal so far in a 1-1 draw against Cayenne last week. And it doesn't get much easier for Nice as they travel to Lyon next weekend, who have won 2 of the opening 3 games. Though the only bright spark is maybe Mario Balotelli. It was rumoured he was set to leave. However, he could return next weekend. And God knows they need him. Dijon, though, have surprised most football fans as they have a 100% record, only behind PSG on goals scored. Who knows, maybe they'll pull off a Monaco.
Yeah,
and win the league. They probably won't.
Interesting, though. Maybe we should profile them on Eurofootball Daily, or on Eurofootball Daily. Maybe we should do a scout report on them.
You never know. But next weekend,
views that
they are at home to a winless Cayenne. So maybe
12 points.
Who knows what's going to happen there?
Madness.
They're going to win the league. That's what we've taken from this. Let's move on to our star of the week.
Time for our final section, which is Star of the Week. Now, this is brand new. It's pretty much exactly what it says on the tin. But this does enable you to cherry pick a player that's impressed you regardless of the result. And maybe from a smaller side too. Someone you want to see as profile. Someone you want to see shed a little bit of light on. It could have been Joseph Martinez from Atlanta United this week. He scored the most goals in an MLS season with 8 games remaining. That would have been interesting. However, I was scripting this until 2 o'clock in the morning. People were chipping in first thing. It's been bank holiday. So you'll have to forgive us for taking the safe option this week. Karim Benzema comes from Jack Derbyshire. He starred in Real Madrid's 4-1 win over Girona. Grabbed a brace. Only got 5 last campaigns, Zach. So looks on course to smashing that. Can, at 30 years old, he's superpower Madrid to win the title? I'm not sure. He'll share the spoils with Bale, no doubt.
Yes.
They'll both contribute more, both be a little bit more decisive now. They're more advanced now. They're not dropping into link-up play for Cristiano Ronaldo. That's well documented. We've said that before. But just go over some of his stats from the game and then maybe give me your opinion on how you think he's going to fare this campaign.
Sure thing, Christopher. I actually thought he had a very positive game. He took 3 shots, put 2 on target and made 3 key passes. And he scored 2 goals in 2 games so far. An average of 2 shots per 90 and 2 key passes per 90 in the Liga. He's had a good start, and I do feel, as we said, he's going to get more than his 5 goals from last season. I think now that Cristiano Ronaldo isn't there, the spoils are going to be shared out, as he said, between Bale, Isco, Benzema, Asensio. There's a lot more there, and I think we'll start to see the younger stars like Asensio maybe shine a bit more. They'll get more minutes. And maybe be relied on to win matches that Ronaldo was relied on last season. However, guys, for next week's Star of the Week, tweet it to us. The handles are on screen right now. Time for the end board.
I don't know who the Star of the Week is in a minute because it's not next week. Tweet us then.
Yeah, do it on that Sunday.
Yeah.
Cheers.
So that was ERU for this week, guys. As always, thank you very much for getting involved. And if you want to contribute, then look out for that tweet next week, like Zach said. Zach, what else is happening on Football Daily? Eurofootball Daily, FDFC.
Yes, well, why not check out Stat Wars that went out on the weekend, the 12th man on FD, and keep an eye out for FTFC's 7 matches that will be coming out soon. You wanted weekly content, we're giving it to you. You wanted weekly matches, we're giving it to you, and more. So keep your eyes peeled for that and subscribe to it. Bye.